likes this guy named Patrick. He's kinda pathetic, so tragic. Makes the most with the little that he has. Chasing aliens and UFOs. He lost his marbles, everyone knows. Makes the most with the little that he has. Like a paper bag, he won't last. Some say he's sensational, others say he's delusional, but most agree he fucking sucks. Some say he's not the sharpest tool, others say he's just a tool, but most agree he fucking sucks. He goddamn for sure fucking sucks. No one likes this guy named Patrick. Super pathetic, dramatic, kinda believes in magic. Magic makes the most with the little that he has. Chasing aliens and UFOs. What's next? The moon is a hoax. Well, I kinda believe in that one myself. Anyway, back to the song. Makes the most with the little that he has. Like a paper bag, he won't last, but most agree he fucking sucks. Some say he's sensational, others say he's delusional, but most agree he fucking sucks. Some say he's not the sharpest tool, others say he's just a tool, but most agree he fucking sucks. He goddamn for sure fucking sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a
Yo, 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 what up, everybody? We are live, as I like to say it, live on YouTube here today. We are joined by the Astral. What's up, Astral? How you doing, man?
Yo, what's up, man? That was funny. That was a good intro. I never heard the whole song before, but
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote the lyrics and then I made, you know how AI music is. I made like 50 different versions till I found the one that
right.
that I liked. But that's kind of tradition now to play that at the beginning of the live streams, making fun of myself. That's the only way to do it. I really appreciate you joining, man. This is kind of a live series I've done. I've only done, this is my third episode, where I call it the State of UFO Disclosure, right? Where we just talk about, what's happening, man.
Right.
Got some different clips of some different stuff that, whatever people have said. We'll go over it, that kind of thing. And, keep it simple, man. We're just going to keep it simple today. So I really appreciate you jumping in. Real quick for everyone watching. We'll do this again later, but let's bring this up. This is Astral's Twitter page, y'all. Make sure to give him a follow on his Twitter. As many people know, I use Astral a lot in my videos. Is one of the main dudes on Twitter. So if you want to know what's like going on up to date, up to the minute, my boy Astral always has it covered, dude. He does such a great job of covering all this shit. So I'm really glad to get him on the show today, because he definitely knows, what's a happening. But also, Astral, we want to give your YouTube channel a shout out. So what is your YouTube channel? Go ahead and let people know, man.
Yeah, so I have had my YouTube channel for a while. Haven't used it at all. I've really focused a lot of my attention on Twitter and X, just upgrading, having spaces and posting in there. But I wanted to build like more of like a show, and different ideas that I'm testing out, different, kind of production things that I wanted to work through. And so I wanted to really kind of get my, spark my YouTube back up. So it's over at the Astral Media is where the my YouTube is, and I'll make a comment too a couple times in the chat for everybody to follow it. But I'll be doing some long form content, some interviews, some panels, some sci stuff. I love talking about the psi element, parapsychology, a lot of the psychic phenomenon with astral projection. I do remote viewing every week over on X. So, I wanted to bring a little bit more of that into the conversation as well.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, y'all make sure and give Astral a follow on his YouTube, man. We need to help him grow his YouTube channel out. So well, look, people start jumping into the live stream, right? But as a tradition, normally I might wait a little bit till there's more people in here, but screw it. I just want us to get going on the content. But a tradition I have on these live streams is I have everyone shout out where they're watching in the world, in the chat here, and then I'm just going to shout it out. So let me know where you are watching us today on the live stream, just to show everyone how international this topic is and how global the vetted audience is as well. So where are you watching from, chat? Let me know. Hit me up. Let's see. Usually it's going to come in fast so that I can say it. Yep, here we go. Florida, North Carolina, Colorado Springs, Houston. Let's go, baby. Texas. You'll see my shirt. There you go. Lafayette. We got Scotland, Louisiana, Milwaukee, UK, Orlando, Kentucky in the house, South Africa, San Diego, Mississippi, MI, crooked letter I, Australia, Indiana, Richmond, Beltsville, Maryland, Alabama, Seattle, Germany, Ottawa, Nevada, Helsinki, Canyon Lake, Texas, Connecticut, Oaxaca, Mexico, vámonos, Mobile, Alabama, Croydon, I hope I'm saying that right, Ukraine, I don't know, do I believe that? Rochester, Philadelphia, Seoul, South Korea, where the UFO too big to move, Hamburg, Sesame Street in the house, Netherlands. I mean, we just keep going. Buffalo, New York. Holy shit, y'all. Look at that, Astral. All over the place, man.
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street. So funny, dude. There's always a few of those in there, and I like those. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let's jump into this. Let's just get this going.
Yep.
All right. So here, let's I'm gonna start with an interesting clip. All right, hang on. Let me make sure I do this right. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I can't do this right. All right, let's see here. Bookmarks. I like a bookmark. All right, this is going to be an interesting video, so I don't want anyone to get upset. Okay, don't get upset at what I'm about to show you, but pay attention. All right, let's see. Let's do it. There we go. All right, so this is an example that Mick West put online. Okay, we have the UFO file drops. Clearly, Astral, you've covered it. I've covered it. And then we had the second drop. A lot of videos, right? We got so many more UFO videos that we know what to do with. But Mick West put out a great little clip of an example of parallax, something that seems, visually you see something in a video and you think it's doing something. But that may not be the reality of what's actually happening in the screen, which is why I call for more context for these videos. Report something else besides just a video. We don't know anything about it, right? Because if you see it, you think, oh my God, okay, what's happening? But with more context, you might understand what is happening. So pay attention to this little bit. It's 15 seconds. You see that ball? Looks like it's flying through the sky, right? Like it's just zooming past all these houses. Oh my God, that's insane. But guess what? That ball isn't moving. It's stationary. Yeah. What's following it is what's moving, right? So it's spinning around it, and you think that thing is moving, but what's actually moving is the capturing system that's moving. And that happens a lot in these videos. I'm not saying that's an explanation for all the videos, but none of us are experts, right, in watching these videos, right?
Right.
and we're trying to make sense of what's, going on. I just think personally that's sort of a bigger problem, that we don't get a lot of context on these videos. What do you think
Well,
of
you
that?
said, this is the state of disclosure episode, and I think the state of disclosure that we're at is we're in the analysis of video stage. Like, this is what disclosure has become right now, is we're getting all of these videos and science isn't involved. We're not getting any, real evidence here in terms of the crash retrieval program or alien bodies or anything that David Grush has tried to testify about. We're just getting these videos with no context, no information, and we're just left to fend it out. And this is something like this is helpful to me. It's helpful when trying to analyze these videos, because you see a lot of these videos that look like spheres or orbs, and they look like they're traveling at a high rate, when without the context, this looks like a good explanation for a lot of the stuff and the prosaic explanations. And that was the unfortunate part, is, we're watching these videos. Some of them look like birds. At some point you're like, okay, this looks like birds. This has or this looks like a balloon, is another one, balloon and birds. But then at the same time, why wouldn't that be already conclusive? And why is even this being released in this fashion, where it's just, it's got to be declassified, and there's undetermined cases that we're getting. So, I think a lot of this is just, and that, to me, if you were going to ask me like 6 months ago, like, that's what I wanted kind of disclosure to be, is like, just give us the information and let us fend for ourselves. But I think people are upset because it's ended up being like just debating about video analysis.
Yeah. Oh, great point, man. No, you make some. I agree. And as an example of that, is a nice little follow up to that beautiful explanation. Let me show you. Show everybody. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of clips from the live stream I did when the files came out. Right, the second tranche of files came out. All right, let's see here. Let's do
The trounch.
the train. Yeah, I love that word. Now everybody's saying that, right? It's like obfuscation or loitering, right? You hear all of a sudden everyone's using these words. You're like, what the fuck? Where, you never said that in your life before. So funny. All right, so this is again just a clip from my live stream when the videos come out. We're just we're just driving through each particular video.
Mhm.
Let's watch this for a second. So I'm just chilling. What is this? Balloon. Are you kidding me? Did y'all see that? That was a fucking balloon. I'm sorry. That's y'all. Okay. Okay, man. Oh my. Oh my
Oh, that's good.
God. Are you I'm just gonna leave that there for a second. Let's just all take a breather. I need a break for a sec. I mean, I'm losing my fucking mind over here, y'all. Let's just burn that into your brain right there. Is that not a goddamn balloon? Can't be a balloon. Mick West, right? It's fucking balloon.
Oh man, that's good.
And that's just the reality, right? Like
Yeah.
all of a sudden there's just a balloon. And you did bring up a good point just a minute ago, where it's like, yeah, but if it's just a balloon, why would they release it under UFO? I agree. That's a good question and something that should be answered. But this is clearly a balloon. But I
Yeah.
think that is a good follow-up question. Why release this under unidentified if it's identified as a balloon, and there could be more information there, right? Of what's going on. So
No,
all right,
dude,
one.
the first 4 videos that I saw, I went from like the back forward, were all like kind of birds, and I'm like, oh no, oh no. This is not gonna be
Totally. Definitely
good.
birds. You could even see him flapping in one. It was like, come on. I agree. Some just obvious, what people might call junk, right? All right, I got one more real quick here. And then, oh shit. Should I do this right? Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay, bam. Shoots down UAP. The most compelling title so far. All right, here we go. Here we go, y'all. That literally looks like a balloon. Okay. What are we doing? What are we doing here, man? I mean, something definitely exploded there. Whoa. But did that? What? This is just like a balloon getting popped. Let's watch that again. Right there. Let's. Insane.
It's a crazy video though.
Sure. It's like it's just literally like a birthday party. They pop little Timmy's balloon.
Yeah,
we got a video of
the backstory. Apparently, Kirkpatrick sent an email out that said it was the Boy Scout balloon. You know, it was like a Boy Scout balloon that they shot down. And I think, you know, people are like, well, why don't they release it? You know, if you spent $500,000 to shoot down a Boy Scout balloon, that's pretty embarrassing. I don't know, man, that you would want to come out.
Super embarrassing. Super embarrassing. Not only that, I think we shot one, missed, and then shot another missile. So it's like double whammy of horrible. It's embarrassing all across the board. It's embarrassing that we would shoot down. Yeah. So the story is that it was a Boy Scout balloon. It had actually traveled around the globe like eight times, you know, and they had a transponder on it hanging from the bottom, and this Boy Scout group was just following it, you know, just keeping track of this thing, see how many times it would go around the globe, and then we shot it down with a fucking missile. Like, it's insanity.
Then
the
Men in Black show up to the Boy Scout group, are like, guys, we can't
talk
about this.
Yeah, they neuralize them like this is, not because it's aliens, but just because this is embarrassing. This is, don't tell the Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
And you know, this was the Lake Huron you know, incident that people were all like, oh, what happened to this thing, you know, this is what it turns out to be. And now I'm not suggesting that all cases are this simplistic, of course not, but the question is, why are cases like this being mixed in with what we're asking for, alien related shit? Right? What are the stuff that's unidentified, and you know, the perception is that it's in the vicinity of alien, right? And this is my problem. Like, I don't want to see any more UFOs or UAP video. Like, fuck unidentified shit. They say they have identified shit. Show us that. I'm tired of the term UAP. Oh, we got a new UAP video. I don't give a fuck. Where's the identified anomalous phenomena videos, the IAPs and the IFOs? You said you have alien spacecraft on video, alien bodies. That's it. I'm done with the unidentified.
Right. It will even in our spaces. I think you were in there. We had Science Bob, who was recently on Danny Jones, come in and said he saw a video. There's a video out there's a B-52 that a UFO comes. The aliens are in the window just waving away. You know, we've got that on camera. And it's like those videos are, that's another frustration, is those videos are being passed around in the back channels. It's like, hey, you know, check out this video. And people are like, wow, it's the craziest video I've ever seen. If only this video can come out. Well, why the hell isn't it out yet? You know, like it's kind of like the Jeremy Corbell approach, where these videos are out. And another thing that's interesting is Corbell posted these videos unredacted. They weren't redacted. So they had the sensor data. So people now are going back to Corbell's videos to try to determine what it is instead of the redacted version. So if we had all of that information, which are leaked videos, you know, it would be helpful to determine what they are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%, man. I totally agree. Yeah, it's insanity. You know, when it comes to this stuff, we are at a weird crossroad, and I personally think we asked for one thing. They gave us something that has nothing to do with it, but people just
Mm.
don't, for some reason, don't want to admit that, and just like, no, they gave us stuff. It says UAP, it says UFO, that, aliens. No, that's not the government's definition of UAP and UFO has nothing to do with aliens, and that's what we're here for, but they're not here for that. And if they are, then just give us that stuff. Forget all of this stuff. Forget everything you have that's unidentified or unresolved. Forget it. Why even deal with that? We don't know what it is. Why would we spend time on that? When you said you've solved the puzzle, you said you have you know what I mean? Why would we even play around with this stuff? And it is interesting that some of those videos weren't redacted with some of that information. I personally, I just don't even care. Give us, I just, even if they give us more data around these unidentified things, again, why are we even wasting our time with it if there's the real shit, like
Yeah.
that B-52 video you said, which Bob said in the space, he gave more context and said, oh, I got called in by somebody and like, you got to take a look at this video, and he saw it through a window on a computer screen, wasn't even allowed in the office, and they just turned the turned the monitor towards him, and he saw this video of aliens waving in the window. It's like, what the fuck, and Ross Coulthard tweets it out like it's a bigger deal, right? But then again, when you hear more context, you're like, this, why are we not getting that video? That if it's as real as what people claim, you wouldn't need to release any of these UFO videos, right? Or files or anything. Nobody would care. So yeah, why are we not getting that shit? I'll tell you why, because it's fucking bullshit. Sorry. I'm just, it angers me so much to go down these fucking rabbit holes for no reason. I just think it's unnecessary. But whatever.
Yeah, it's
All
a
right,
consistent hype that I think too frustrates people. And you know what I think is happening too on a bigger scale? And I made this kind of chart of like just my journey of like coming into the topic very, very open-minded, and kind of like one of the first things that I did was when I came onto X was go at Mick West, because Mick West, you don't know anything. Now, I've come so far to where I've kind of gone over the hump, or the hill, and then I've become a little bit more skeptical and critical of everything, and just have really looked for the real substance, the real goods of it. And it just seems like people now are going to go through that at a quicker rate. There's going to be a lot more people involved in the topic that are going to be digging in, and then finally being like, there's nothing really here. Like there's not shit in the files. Like, this isn't anything. And they're going to find out that a lot of these claims come back to people like Hal Puthoff, Chris Mellon, Eric Davis, and a lot of this stuff is just circulated. That's why when people were talking about like circulated stuff and recycled stories and cases and a lot of the stuff, I was like, but then you just hear it. It's kind of like over and over. And if you go back like 7 years ago, you see the same thing. And then 7 years before that. And, it's kind of like these cycles. And I think this is just a bigger cycle with more people involved and interested in the topic now too.
Yeah, well said, man. Absolutely. And then the bigger question becomes, why is that happening? Is it because there is something right at the base of this that is actual recovered alien craft and bodies, and they're using all this sort of weird circular reporting and fake shit to sort of hide the fact, right, about this one case, right? If you just present all these other bullshit cases, that it hides the real shit, or is it just our own advanced tech, a mix of that? I don't know. But I think to not admit that that's not happening is insane to me. And personally, I think people should be way more critical. That's how we're going to get the best shit to come out. Because if you
Right.
just Oliver twist this shit, please, sir, can I have another? We're not going to get shit. You know what I mean? They're just going to be like slopping shit at us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yeah, take this shit. We'll let you go crazy over a video of birds for the next 2 weeks and argue about it. But I think if everyone was super critical, we could sharp that knife on that hardened stone, right? And really get to the best shit, in my opinion. But I don't know. I'm saying if you had to choose between being more critical or just accepting because you don't want to, walking on eggshells because you don't want to disturb anyone or offend anyone, or this person's so brave for coming forward. I think both things can be true. You can appreciate people coming forward, but we've got to be critical. Otherwise, they're just going to keep feeding us slop, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. No, Richard Dolan has said this a bunch on the Need to Know show. He's like, we're going to have to pry it from their dead hands disclosure. Like, this isn't going to be something given to us like easily, where we get videos dropped on a website and we're like, hey, everybody, look, it's the evidence of aliens. They're here. And it's all, like, we're going to have to pry that, like that's if we're really talking about, crash retrievals and all this, like none of these guys who are out in the public ever had access to it. Nobody has. They weren't ever in the program. This is a program that nobody has had access to, because I would think that it would be the most reliable in American patriots that are involved in this. So they wouldn't come out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't, and Lou Elizondo tries to kind of play this role, but I don't think that people would be able to leave the program. It's a program like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be top secret to where, you wouldn't be able to leave something like that. And I think that to be able for us to get evidence of it, for them to confirm to the whole world that it's real, like that's basically the plot for Disclosure Day is what we're talking about.
Yeah. Great point. Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. And you brought up Richard Dolan, which I should have mentioned this at the beginning, dude. Do you want to talk about, I don't want to talk for you, but you helped produce a couple of great shows, right? Does the Need to Know still happen with Richard Dolan and Bryce?
Yeah. That's a monthly show that I produce. So they talk about once a month, and then we're also exploring some other ideas. Like, we did a show where I was actually able to go on and talk about the first UFO file drop with Rich and Bryce at the same time. So we were going through it, and I was surprised. I was actually the most excited, which I'm usually pretty critical about stuff, but I was like excited, and they were like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. This isn't anything. So, it's to bring like a little bit of a younger, like, hey, this is what's going on in the community. This is what people are talking about, about this. And it's cool. And Rich is really, those guys are really cool. Those are like I consider those guys friends now. So yeah.
No,
and then
awesome,
the other podcast is Sound, Light, and Frequency that I work on with Bryce Abel and Brent Friedman, which honestly, man, listening to that podcast has been like a breath of fresh air, because it's like UFO lore through Hollywood, through the lens of like Hollywood, like how Men in Black was developed through film. And, the last episode was like their show, Dark Skies, had Men in Black, and Steven Spielberg was developing the movie Men in Black, and they like tried to shut them down from using the Men in Black. So there was like these little like tussles. And then there was the Harrington, which was the Department of Energy person who told Brent Friedman that the aliens, that he couldn't sleep, he could, because of the information that he was like briefed for. John Harrington, who was under the Reagan administration, and Brent was his neighbor, and he drove cross country to bring him his stuff. This is when he was like a senior in high school. And so he got there, and John Harrington was in this position under Reagan, under the administration, and apparently getting briefed, because then he took him out back. He was like drinking like Jim Beam out of the bottle. He's like, this is weird. Yeah. This guy's like a super straight, character. But he told him, and he basically told him that like aliens are real. And, he was brought into underground bunkers, and that was on day 3. He was briefed on for like months, and day 3, he was told the aliens are real. So he was just kind of shook from the information. And, but that's like a story that I loved, it's like, still like there's no evidence of that, but just the like levity of the story of like, he was like family friend, and this guy was like really on the inside. And David Grush, another like point was, David Grush was trying to get him to testify through Ross Coulthart. So they were really trying to get some of these guys to come forward, like John Harrington, who was briefed on what was going on. Like, he was briefed on the inside.
Yeah. No, it's a great story, dude. No, you do great work, man. The Need to Know, and Sound, Light, and Frequency. And Need to Know, for those of you, I'm sure y'all remember, originally it was Bryce and Ross Coulthart for the longest time. those two
Right.
guys, right? And you worked on that show, and then Ross left, really just went all in on News Nation, and now Richard Dolan stepped in, right? I mean, these are all
Right.
OGs, which is great, dude. Yeah, Need to Know, kick-ass show. I'm sure everyone knows that show. And then the Soundline Frequency, which I maybe some people haven't heard about yet, but yeah, man, both excellent shows you get to work on, dude. And I'm so jealous, and that's super cool. So please check those shows out if you haven't already. They're on all the podcast platforms, right? You can find
Right.
those. So,
Mhm.
yeah, man, love that. All right, now I'm gonna piss off some people here real quick. Astral, what do you say? Should we piss some
Nice.
people off? Because how do you guys like this guy? Um, here we go, Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Some people have been a little upset, thinking that he has changed his tune, changed his story. He's got a new book that's out about how to like communicate with aliens or something. And so I've seen a lot of people in the UFO community who are a little upset at him, like, oh, he's gripped now and now he cares. But so he's getting a lot more attention. He's been commenting on the files and this, that, and the other. And he went on Brian Taylor Cohen's show, and I got a nice little clip from it. And if you don't remember, Brian Taylor Cohen is the podcaster who famously asked Obama about aliens, and that clip that went viral that led to Trump talking about Obama on Air Force One, which some say led to these files coming out, essentially. So Neil deGrasse Tyson went on Brian Taylor Cohen, and I think what Neil deGrasse Tyson has to say is just relevant. I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but clearly something people are talking about. So let's take a look here.
In recent years, you've had last 10 years, I would say, you had high-ranking people who you would not suspect would be prone to imagination running away with them. That they, high ranking, high respect, high integrity. Not only that, in the last 3 years, we've had insiders and whistleblowers who testify under oath that they've got alien body parts from crashed saucers and crashed saucer parts and reverse engineering things. So at that level, you can't just say they're all crazy. You can say crazy people are crazy and you're done. But when people at that level say, then no. So I'm in a position now where when they announce they're going to release the files, I'm saying, I don't think the files are going to say anything we don't already think are there. So you know what I really need? Is it too much to ask? Bring out the alien.
Yeah.
Is that too much to ask? You're already telling us you have it. Our imagination is run to no end of fulfillment with alien movies and stories. And so just bring out the alien. Because you bring out more and more people of different rank and in age of disclosure, it was not just insiders and whistleblowers. It was members of Congress, current and former members of Congress. And so bringing more of them out saying fundamentally the same thing does not really count as evidence scientifically. The battle cry, I need a witness, we've seen screamed in courtrooms, at least courtroom dramas, said no scientist ever. No scientist. I said, to say they need a witness, no. It's, if a lot of people are giving similar accounts, that's good enough reason to look more closely, get better data than information that has to be processed through your own brain. The human physiology is awful at data taking. I'm surprised eyewitness testimony is ever allowed in the court of law, based on what I know as a scientist and based on what psychologists know. We've done this experiment since since kindergarten. When you play telephone, one person starts with a story and they whisper it, and it comes 8 people later, the story's completely different. And that you don't have to be a child for it to be completely different.
Right.
All right. So something happens when the mind body processes objective information. That's why science was invented.
You make some good points. Now, I will plead with everyone to forget who's saying that. and just think about the words he said rather than, well, it's Neil deGrasse Tyson, I hate him, I'm not listening to anything he has to say. Well, but hang on a second, right? Like, let's just listen to what he's saying. I didn't hear anything there that I disagree with. I don't know. What about you, Astral? What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's trying to. It feels like he's selling himself disclosure.
Yeah.
He's trying to convince himself that this is disclosure, and I don't know. It
That's
just
funny.
feels very surface level, but I agree in what the points that he's making are. Like we've reached a point where like the stories and the claims are just gonna they're gonna snowball on itself until we get that actual evidence of the craft or of the alien, and so we can hand it over to science. I think that's a logical ask, that this is put in the best hands, and that's been one of the frustrations of people who have been at the top, like Weinstein and all these, is the top scientists haven't been involved. Why are we acknowledging these people as the top scientists, but they're not involved in these projects? We have people who are engineers that are doing the science, or some, physicists that are doing some other aspect of it that they might not normally do. But I think what he's doing is interesting. He's kind of latching on to the topic, but he's not full blown going on UFO podcasts, or like Bryce tried to challenge him to be like, come on, need to know and debate UFO. I don't think he's even trying to debate or do anything like that in terms of UFOs. But I think that he's acknowledging that, like, there's something there. Like, when enough people, like you said, when there are enough people coming out that are credible, that are talking about a certain case or an experience or phenomenon, you start to have to pay attention to it. And we just need more data. We need more data.
Yeah, well said. And yeah, I agree with the fundamental premise of what he's saying. There's enough compelling stories to go, okay, these are a lot of credible people, high level ranking people saying the same thing. Let's look into it further, right? Rather than close the door. But the look into it further is, we need data, we need scientific evidence. We're going to need proof of these claims. So you brought us here, right? You knocked enough, we answered the door. Now, where's this evidence or proof that you speak of? Because we can't keep just saying the same thing. We can't basically keep running the same episode of, if it was a TV show, just a rerun of the same episode, right? People are going to get tired. Like, no, we need a new season. We need a new season here. Like, we got to move on to the next thing, which is the evidence and proof that you spoke of, because you can only just keep saying the same thing, that there's a cover up, we got alien, the thing. Okay, you've said it. We believe you, or at least we're not that we believe you, but we're listening. Okay, we heard you. Now let's get to proving this claim that you've got our attention about. And that's all he's saying, in my opinion. I just don't see anything wrong with that. That sounds like the most reasonable and fair, right? Because it's like, he's not dismissing these people as crazy, just shutting this is stupid. No, he's saying, okay, got my attention. You say you got this shit. Wow, there's a lot of interesting people saying this, but we're going to have to go further than just, I saw this or whatever. So yeah, I like it.
It comes off as hard. Comes off as harsh too, I think, to some people, when he said something like, "Oh, when before it's just been like farmers or the guy at the bar who stumbled out drunk and saw the UFO." When I don't see it as that, there's a lot more experiences and experiencers in that. I think just he quoted the Age of Disclosure, which I think was probably an influence for a lot of what we're probably going to see of that type of thinking of, a lot of these people, 30 people were brought together and they're all credible and they're all insiders, and, former admirals and all of these people, congressmen, that are all coming together and saying this thing. So it gets people's attention. I think people, like you said, people are listening. It got people's attention. Now we just need the data and the evidence.
Yeah. And hopefully they don't look too hard and realize, oh shit, some of this is bullshit, which can deter some people, right? It's like, oh, you got my attention. Oh, fuck, this is not good. It's like, somebody's like, oh, we're going to play a cover song, in a band, and then it's just the worst version of In the Air Tonight you've ever heard by Phil Collins, they're just like, okay, I'm not listening to the next song. That's what I worry. But either way, let's look into it. And I'm all about that still, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. I mean, we could just go down that thread for hours, honestly, right? All right, this is a clip of Representative Tim Burchett that you shared, and I think this is a good one if you ask me. All right,
Nice.
boom. Yeah, you know what this is already. Let's go.
I've heard the definition of about 8 different species. I don't know till I see it. Till I shake hands or paws or whatever they got with them. I get sent a lot of material, and I get a lot of pictures and videos, and people want me to come out to the house and see something. I'm always afraid I'll end up in a freezer in North Carolina doing a family of cannibals will get me or something. But no, I'm very cautious about that. I've got a bookshelf full of books that people have sent me. You got to read this. It explains it, and what it is and what's going on. And I'm really cautious about all that. I've heard the definition of about 8 different.
So right there, definitely at the beginning, 8 different alien species, right? That claim, because what did we just hear recently? Which is the point you made in your post. 4 alien species. That's what Hal Puthoff said on the Diary of a CEO podcast, and that's kind of been talked about before. But yeah, there's 4 alien species. So now there's 8. Like, I'm losing track. These duplicates, maybe these duplicate alien species. Yeah, I don't know. What just your initial thoughts on all this?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. If we double it to 16 next week, I'm going to be suspicious. All right.
Dude, what if Greer just said something like 99 or some bullshit? I swear, I don't know the number,
like
but
8 catalog back in the 1970s, somebody cataloged like 70 something species of alien, and it's like, we just need that one. We just need one, okay, right now that we can. But the typicals are the grays, the reptilians, the mantids, and the Nordics. Okay, those are like the most popular. But I think it was fun to speculate what the next 4 are. So, it was fun to post like what I would think maybe the next 4 would be, whether they're aquatic or AI sentient or energy beings themselves, And if you look at one of the really interesting studies that you could look at is called the Free Research Study, which it was the Edgar Mitchell Foundation. He started a research project that looked at people who had experiences with non-human intelligence, so different like beings. And so it was looking at like 6,000 different experiences that people were having, and they asked them like over 100 questions about details about their experience. So they were able to log how many people had experiences with reptilians or grays, and you could see there was hundreds of different beings, multiple experiences with these. And then so it was like a book, it was huge. It was the thickest book I've ever seen and it would detail all the experiences, but it also had the breakdown of statistics where some interesting things, like of those 6,000 accounts, like 75% were out of body. So people were out of their body, like having an out of body experience. And 50% of the time, communication was through telepathy. So there were some really interesting like statistics in there where thousands of people were having. It sort of makes me think about like near-death experiences, where not everybody's going to have the same near-death experience at all. I think a lot of it is going to be based off of your life and even, your beliefs, religious affiliations. But the characteristics of a near-death experience, where you leave your body, you go through the tunnel, you meet loved ones, like there's consistent characteristics of near-death experiences through the last, through all of humanity that people talk about. And I think still with these not experiences with non-human intelligence, you can see that there's like consistent characteristics that people have with these, same with like the DMT, whether you're in like a DMT state and you meet with beings, out of body, abduction type of experiences, lucid dreaming, all of this stuff. This is what really got me into the topic, is through this lens of experiences, like these deep experiences with non-human intelligences that I think are happening, but you don't even hear about this at all with Disclosure. It's all about, we got to get the nuts and bolts. We got to find the craft. We got to find out the secrets. When to me, a lot of where my motivation came on getting involved with the topic is, man, if only people could experience some of this stuff and really see that there's another side of this that is there.
Yeah. Yeah, well said, man. Yeah, your fascination with I don't know the right term, like, extra sensor abilities, right, of the mind, consciousness, psi abilities that you mentioned earlier, which is honestly how I first came across you. I remember last year before Contact in the Desert, where you do on your X, you do these weekly remote viewing uh whatever test, I guess,
Yeah.
online, where
Mhm.
you show an envelope and you ask people to put down in the comments, remote view this, right? Tell me what you get, and then you reveal what the picture is. And I thought that was really cool. And I remember thinking, oh, okay, that's an first of all, that's a cool way to do it. But you do focus on that a lot, and you are also helped with the Psy Games last August, right, as well,
Right. Yeah.
which was an interesting sort of mental Olympics, if you will, of people to show off their psi abilities. And it's something I'm also fascinated in. I got my psionics documentary coming out very soon. Actually, already, finalizing everything, getting all that stuff is so much work. But it's finally coming
Right.
out. I'm also very fascinated with that because it involves something we all have, and I don't need government insiders. I don't need sources. I don't need bullshit. I just need my mind. Let's go. Let's
Right.
see what's happening with this shit. And I agree. I think that's a sidestep in this topic that more people should take and look at. I
For
think it
sure.
is fascinating, right? Yeah, it is super cool. All right. All right. You know what? Where are we at here? We're at 46 minutes. First of all, thank you to everyone who's watching. I really appreciate it. What are we sitting at? I don't have my glasses, y'all. I can't even see. I can't. Uh-oh. I'm an old man, y'all. The old man. Oh my god. Let's see. We're at 663. Hit that like button, y'all. That really helps out the videos. Look, let me go over there's just not many super chats here, but let me just go over a few of these real quick. I don't want them to go till the end, and then we'll hit more near the end here. We got oh Jesus, Swain Main 6969. Watch your mouth, Swain Main. I became a new member. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate you. Android, well, shout out to Android. Yes, he says, I was hoping you guys might do a live stream after hearing how you're both on similar disclosure, cynicism frequencies. That's hilarious. I'm going to steal that. That's funny. But it keeps us grounded. Yeah. And I'll just say this. People say that a lot to me. Oh, Patrick, you're so cynical. You're so cynical. And I know Android just saying it's a joke, and I respect the hell out of Android. But I do push back a little bit when people say that seriously to me, not joking like Android's doing. But I say it's not that I'm cynical. I'm just realistic. If I put my hand on a stove, I take it off because it's hot. I'm not cynical of the heat from the stove burning me. I take it off because it's hot. It's just real. It's just a real thing. I actually want to see these craft and bodies. I'm not just here to shit on people who think about aliens, because guess what? I'm one of those people. I want to see fucking aliens too. I'm all about it, man. I love that shit. And because I want it to be real, and true, I actually want to get there. So I'm going to look for solutions to get me there, not just, again, Oliver Twist this shit. I really want to get there. So I'm just realistic about things. And I have no problem living in the land of I don't know till I get to the land of I know. I don't have any problem saying, well, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know this. I don't know that. I don't, sometimes it's not even about believing this person or not believing, right? You say, what do you think of this guy? What do you think of his story? Well, I don't know. I need to see evidence or proof. He's told a story, but there's no evidence or proof for it. So it's not that I believe him or disbelieve him. He hasn't proved his own story. It's not up to me to prove it. It's up to people to prove their own stories, in my opinion. But yeah, thank you, Android. You rock, dude. Let's see here. We got Pug. Shout out to Pug, member for 16 months. Good Lord. That's what I'm talking about, Pug. You're the man. Our Kent. Oh, good. I can't even read that. Kent Heckin Lively dates for Trump speech plausible. Do you know what that means? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, somebody new has come out on a show. I think that's who this person is referring to. I they were talking about Trump possibly doing a disclosure speech and him getting prepped or advice for disclosure, this disclosure reveal through his speech. I don't see that as very plausible right now, to be, in my opinion. I don't see Trump coming out and doing anything that has to do with aliens, making an announcement, just because I just don't think he has anything motivation to do that in the topic. I keep going back to the real reason why this is happening is not because Trump is like convinced that the whistleblowers and pilots are telling him the truth. This was because Obama mentioned aliens on a podcast, and he was kind of, asked to go through this process. And to me, this was an opportunity that the disclosure guys were the topic itself 4 months ago. This is pretty interesting to me, was going in the direction of, we need to focus on data collection and the science of it and building this and, going the different disclosure. Carl Nell was like, disclosure's dead, disclosure is dead. We're done. And then Trump does this. And it's all of a sudden we're like doubling down on all of this. Like, this is it. This is going to be the disclosure, Trump. And it seems like that's the kind of goal now, is to get Trump to announce that aliens exist. UFOs are real, aliens exist. I just don't see that happening. I don't see that, because I posted again, what if Trump asked Elon Musk? Would he not ask Elon Musk about this? Of course he would. He'd be like, Elon, where's the evidence of the aliens? These guys are telling me that we've got aliens and they're flying around and they're doing all this. Elon's going to be like, no, I've got the rockets and satellites up in the air right now. There's not, whether they're both read in or they're both not read in. I think that for Trump, he's either out of it or he's completely in it and just not telling. And I just don't think that's the case. I don't think him coming out and doing a speech is plausible, but you never know. I think we're kind of up against the clock now. It feels like it's a kind of a race to have that happen. So that would be interesting to kind of play out over the next year and a half to see if we can get Trump to make some sort of announcement on UFOs or aliens publicly, like a speech.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well said, dude. Yeah, my whole video today, actually, that I released before this live stream is essentially about that what you just brought up, everything about that. So check that out if you haven't already, guys. But yeah, I mean, Astral's making some good points, and I pretty much agree, man. All right, let's see here real quick. We got Mateus, ARS. I don't know. Where's that from? ARS. What kind of currency is that? I don't know. Too many cool stories and a lot of trust me, bro. Where are the materials? If some is blocking the disclosure, share the name of the person blocking it. Someone in the DOD is not good enough. Can't say I disagree, to be honest. People say nuts and bolts, right? We hear that a lot. You said it just a minute ago. And I do too, right? I say all the time. And I'm asking for blood and bones now. I want to see blood and bones, baby, of these aliens. That's what I want. The blood and bones, and I want what you talked about earlier, the consciousness side of and the side. I want to focus on that as well. Those two things are like that. That's it for me. I'm done with unidentified and nuts and bolts. I agree. I don't really care. I mean, I care, but I'm just trying to prioritize essentially. Yeah, what do you think about all these sort of trust me, bro story? I mean, you hear that, right? You hear that a lot.
Yeah, I think we need to be able to subpoena. I think we need subpoena power, really. Like you're saying, like we can't be reaching out and being like, oh, thank you, whistleblowers, for whatever little, like, DOPSR is allowing you to give us. Thank you so much. We've got to turn it around. And, what's frustrating for me now that you're seeing, and an interesting aspect of these congressional hearings that I didn't think was going to be playing out much was you see now that the guys who have testified in front of Congress saying things in podcasts afterwards that are very interesting and would start an investigation. Like James Clapper was in front of the Legacy program, Lou Elizondo, the hybrid programs. Oh yeah, but then he's directly asked about hybrid programs, and he's like, no, I don't know anything about it. So you're seeing these, they're in the spot that they built through 10 years of work to get in these congressional hearings where they're coming in front of the public, and then we're not giving them the information that would start an investigation that would then get a subpoena to put in place to dig in and find the people who are blocking it. Just like Mateus is saying, with who are blocking it. We want to be able to call those people, start the investigation. But if some of these witnesses aren't giving the they're just waiting for Megyn Kelly to reveal the information or something like that. Like, we don't, it's not going to help with Congress investigations into disclosure.
Oh, bro, that's so good. Yeah, man. The Lou Elizondo thing is so funny. I showed those clips in my video that I made before. Yeah, so November of 2024, when he testified, okay, November 2024, Lou Elizondo testifies in Congress, right, along with Schellenberger, Tim Gallaudet, and Mike Gold. And Lauren Boebert comes up to Lauren Boebert. One of her questions is basically, I'm paraphrasing here, essentially, are you familiar with this sort of alien hybrid thing, right? And all of them answer no, including Lou Elizondo, right? And all he says is, all she asks is, are you familiar with this? And he's like, no. Then on, what is her name? Oh, Jesus. Now I'm forgetting her name. Can't remember her name now for some reason. This woman,
Julian Michaels.
Julian Michaels, that's it. Jillian Michaels. Yeah, the one who was having catastrophic disclosure in the moment, right? Like, oh my God.
Shock. Yeah.
She was just like, oh my God. It was like a L'Oreal, it was like a Vidal Sassoon commercial. She was just, she lost her shit. And yeah, Lou Elizondo goes on a 15-minute rant about alien hybrids, essentially, and how he's heard about in the DOD and his time at the Pentagon. And this, now don't forget, he does try to, but I don't know if it's true. It's just these are things I heard. But wait a second, you were asked in Congress, are you familiar with it? Not is it real or not, just right. Are you familiar with this? No, never heard of this. What the fuck? You have heard of it. You are familiar with it, right? So it's stupid. I agree. And Mateus, great. I think you're kind of in line with what we're saying, man. I totally agree with where your head's at, bro. Swain Main, 199 super sticker. All right, thanks, Swain Main. You just want me to say your name, Swain Main. That's all it is, Swain Main. I sound like Terrence Howard, or no, what's his name? Terrence
That's
Howard.
Texas.
And I guess it is. But it's also like Memphis. Yeah. All my Memphis twang. People know. Yeah. Hey, man. What was that movie? Hustle and Flow, baby. Hustle and Flow. We got Jeremy here. You know Jeremy, man, from your spaces too. Jeremy in my Discord as well. Shout out to Jeremy. He says the 4 other species are vegans, gym bros, Disney adults, and Little League parents. That's hilarious. That aliens probably have their own version of that, right? I'm just saying, maybe not all aliens, but there has to be other civilizations out there that have this exact thing, which is kind of funny.
Well, the Little League parents I can relate to, just because I'm a middle school baseball coach and my son is on the team. So, but I'm not. Totally. I'm hard on my son. It's stressful being the coach, but it's fun. It's actually really fun. I'm yelling at him, and all the parents are like, "Whoa! I hope he's your son."
You're like, no, I don't have any kids. I'm just here. I'm just here. That's hilarious. Yeah, absolutely. No, I get it, man. Hey, you want him to win. Sway Main is back. He says, do you think a Trump speech is imminent? I mean, I think we kind of answered that. I don't see it. Yeah.
I think that's the goal. That's the goal of the disclosure right now. It seems like, is get Trump to mention it more, to talk about it. Even, what hasn't come since all of this is an executive order, a real executive order. And I think executive order or a speech, it's kind of the goal, but I don't see it, man. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make this one last point. I'm glad this got brought up because I made this point in my video today, which is there's many questions to ask, but one of the biggest existential questions that we ask ourselves as humans, along with what happens after we die, is, are we alone? Right? Are we alone in the universe? But that's not the question most people want to know about UFOs. Right? We want to know, are we alone on this planet? Right? Have we been alone? Right? Aliens here, not aliens out in the universe. I think we all agree that life exists out in the universe, but have they come here? So, Trump giving a speech, I hope it's not answering the first question, right? Like, yeah, like Obama did, right? Essentially, yeah, aliens are real. We're not alone, probably in the universe. No, bitch. We that's not what we want to know. we want to know is, are there shit under Area 51 or wherever
Right.
that we have, right? We've got the blood and bones, like I brought up earlier, right? Like that's what we really want. So I hope that Trump doesn't give a disclosure speech that doesn't meet the demands of the type of disclosure we want, essentially, right? That he might think that satisfies, but it doesn't. Just like Trump giving out all these UFO files. Oh, they want UFO files? We got some UFO. Give them the UFO file. He's not thinking, no, we got aliens. Let's show them alien. We don't know, but that's what I worry about. Is it's that simple. But who knows? All right. JP flies a drone. Said enjoyed the episode. I enjoy your channel and the vetted take, no matter where it leads. Thank you, my man. Really appreciate you, dude. You're the man. Mateus is back. He says, hello from Argentina. Argentina. Okay. Oh, okay. I see now. ARS. Okay. Got it. Not a good idea to say we need blood and boats from aliens. They might get angry. LOL. With the super chat, you might be able to buy half a candy. No, man. Hey, anything you send is all good. It's not necessary. Y'all know that. I don't ask for that shit. It's definitely not necessary. But I appreciate you. And you're right. I don't want to piss off any aliens. I do want to make that clear. So if y'all, if you're watching, it's all good. Astral and I we're just joking. We're just having a good time. We just see you get zoomed. We just see you get lifted up out of your screen, Astral. We're like, oh shit, it's happening. They got him. Oh shit. JP flies the drone again. Okay, this will be the last one. Then we're going to move on because we got more topics, man. I don't think enough attention is given to the DOE. The DOW gets the attention. I think the real key is the DOE, and they have a different classification system and different declassification process. And what JP flies a drone means by DOE is the Department of Energy. That's a good point. That's brought up a lot in this community. What do you think about that, Astral?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's a point of emphasis with, people who are really researching in the inside of this, like UAP GERB, somebody like that. I don't really get too much into the acronyms of where some of the secrets would be, like diving down, but there are some people in the community that are really like trying to figure out and give direction to Burleson or for example. And I think that's what kind of Grush is there to try and do, is get whistleblowers coming in, but also give Burleson the direction of where this thing needs to go. Because even Burleson has said the White House has called him. The White House has contacted him and asked, where do we go with this? Like, how? And he's like, you're asking me? Like, well, that. So it makes kind of sense. Like, you're asking me. You guys are the ones that imagine that call. He's like, the White House is on the line. Like, hey, where do we go with the UFO thing? Like, wait a minute, what? Like, so I don't know. We'll see.
I was getting ready to call you guys. That's funny.
But the DOA is an interesting place for sure. I think that needs to be more investigation there.
Yeah. Like, I agree with everything you said. And it just gets brought up a lot. Right. And absolutely. I'm all for looking into everything. I like, you know what I mean? I don't know where it is. So I think anyone trying to be like, no, this is the only place we need to look. Forget everything. I know everything. You don't know shit. Nobody knows shit. Right. Everyone's speculating. Everyone's whatever. Let's uncover it all without endangering Americans, national security. I care about that shit. I'm not, I'm Texas and 49 bitches, man. I love America. Even though I don't live in America anymore, I still love America. I don't want to see anything happen to Americans or America or our national security and what we need to protect. And because clearly that's a part of it. I think to ignore that would be ridiculous, right? That clearly is a part of it. But at the same time, we can know the truth about our reality and, where we're at. So, but yeah, good comment, JP. All right, let's get to another clip here. Let's see what I got. Oh, this is another clip you shared, Doug. Oh yeah. This is a good one. This our favorite UFO researcher, y'all.
The
We
OG.
got the OG baby, Stephen Greer. Speaking of knowing it all, here is Mr. Greer right here. He claims to have all the answers. But I do appreciate his work with C5 and some of that. I do have some disagreements with maybe how he goes about it, but whatever. Let's hear what he has to say here. What does he think about disclosure?
Now, what we have done, which they need to avail themselves of, is through intermediaries. We have provided and that's all I'm going to say about that. But there are people who know what they're doing in military and intelligence circles who are working with us very closely. We have provided them a roadmap to not only where the evidence is, which corporations are holding it, but also where the specific black sites and underground facilities are. And this has been provided in great detail. Now, it will take an executive order for them to get those assets under control of the legal and constitutional government. I believe some of that is happening, but not enough. Now, what we have done, which they need to avail themselves of.
Interesting. So Greer has briefed the White House, right? He's briefed everyone from everyone. Apparently, he's briefed. He's Mr. Brief. And this is the problem, though. He says, we've told them where this is in great detail. Yeah, motherfucker, but you probably didn't give any evidence. So it's just like, you know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
What does that mean? We told, they get told all kinds of shit. That's the problem, right? It's like, well, we told them where the black sites are, and it's their fault. They're not moving in on it. So let me get this straight. So you're like, there's a secret thing happening. You want a whole SWAT team, Navy SEAL squad to just bust in the door based on that little bit of information? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Of course, they're not doing anything about it.
I think that's one of the things about Greer is he makes good points mixed in with a lot of nonsense. So another clip that I shared from Greer, the same podcast, he kind of throws shade at the whistleblowers that have come in Congress. It's like nobody of anybody has come in. But then he actually makes a good point where he's like, we need open hearings, we need subpoenas, and we need to really press these guys for disclosure. And so like I think he's more of like the larger scale movements of disclosure and not like the kind of like the day-to-day things. So with Greer, you can kind of see like the kind of direction, like he was really on point where this religious like demon thing was coming along. He's been talking about that for a while. He also has been hinting at this sort of like false flag event that's coming that Corbell has been hinting at too, of like this psyop like type of ways that the public is going to be told. So it's like Greer has a little bit more of a pulse on the larger scale direction of ufology as a whole and less about like whistleblowers coming in. One of the funny things I think he did say on the podcast was he was trying to make it seem like the UFO drop, the first one, was a distraction from his event. So it happened because of his press event. Like, they found out about my press event and they dropped the UFO files because we were disclosing so much in that event. And it's kind of like, come on, bro. Like,
that's hilarious. I didn't hear him say that. That is so funny. Yeah, that's the problem with Greer. I mean, I think you summed it up. He says some interesting things mixed in with some absolute bullshit, right? Which, to be fair to him, he's not the only one.
Right.
I'm guilty of that too, to be honest with you. That's so funny that whole thing was hilarious. He has his press event, which I believe was like an anniversary for the big disclosure event that he had like 30 years ago or some shit, right?
Yeah.
And then he's also revealing another Boogosphere and other whistleblowers. And then they dropped the files and no one covered it. I didn't make a video. I mean, just no one really cared. Not that I guess they would have cared, but there was just other things that they were focused on. Essentially. Yeah, that's funny. No, Greer's great. And I do agree that we need the open hearing. We need the subpoena. We haven't subpoenaed anybody as far as I know, right? Behind the scenes,
No,
like we haven't done shit all these
no.
years. We haven't done anything that they make promises about doing. I'm gonna send a strongly worded letter. Oh, great. Fucking awesome. You know what I mean? What, like we're writing the manager at Target about a fucking return?
Yeah.
It just is ridiculous.
And I feel like we have the names too. Like we have some of these names. Grush has come out and revealed some of these names. George Knapp has come out. George Knapp under oath actually said a couple of these names because finally somebody was like, who are the names, George? Like what, name some of the names. And so he put a couple on record, but still like we still haven't called them up or subpoenaed or gotten anything.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. Totally agree. All right, and how long can that go on, right? Like, can't go on forever.
Right.
All right. This is UAP James, another great content creator on X as well, y'all. If you're not following James as well, man, he's amazing at keeping up to date with what's going on. This is Ross on News Nation. Let's listen to it. This is an interesting clip for sure.
There's a lot of speculation, I'm hearing it from people inside the administration, that the Trump administration is indeed soliciting advice about how to tell the public that we're not alone. There are consultations taking place with spiritual leaders. I'm now able to confirm that. There was some speculation a couple of weeks ago about a group of pastors, but it turned out that wasn't directly related to the White House. But there are religious leaders that have been consulted by the White House. I'm aware of people in the administration who've reached out. I've actually spoken to people myself who've asked what I think would be the, quote, ontological shock for the public. And I've told them that, frankly, I think the biggest shock for the public would be the sense of a betrayal of trust if the government doesn't follow through and tell the whole story. There's a lot of speculation. I'm hearing it from people inside the administration.
So that's interesting, right? And I think Jeremy Corbell also tweeted out that the Trump administration had reached out to him. I don't know if he said that in that clip actually, or if he said it in another clip. But basically the Trump administration is considering how to reveal to the public disclosure, and they're reaching out to different groups, religious leaders. The Trump administration, according to Ross, reached out to him. Jeremy Corbell has also said it. And that it's a serious discussion behind the scenes. So I guess we're kind of,
it's tough. It's tough to take all of that happening behind the scenes, and then whenever Trump is actually asked, because once Trump got into talking about this stuff, I look back and I found every clip that was out there of him talking about UFOs, and there just doesn't seem like a real interest there of wanting to do any of it. And he's, it's kind of, I feel like he's thrown this off. He's kind of like, all right, I don't want to deal with this. DOW, Pete, you guys deal with this, whatever comes out. And even with the context of whatever these are, unless this is like I don't think this is some long rollout, slow drip where it ends in an announcement that this has been all already planned out. I just don't see that. I think one of the goals is to kind of make it seem like he's going to. Remember when the one guy came out a couple months ago and he's like, Trump's going to make a speech in the summertime, and all of that played out. But I think that sort of like hopeful press, right, is like maybe what is manifestation. I don't know. It's like it's saying, thinking that it's like, yo, Trump's going to come out and he's going to say this, with no real person inside of the White House insinuating any of that, just of how this process may go ideally for the disclosure. But I don't know. I don't see like him going on the news and like in front of the podium and being like, I have an announcement to make, aliens are real, when none of this evidence is pointing towards that at all. Like it hasn't even gotten close to aliens are real, and this is kind of confirming it, because that's the next step. After the announcement, you have to confirm it. People are going to be like, okay, well, like show me. People are going to want to see, they're not just going to accept it. I think if that happens, there's going to have to be some goods that are going to have to be delivered to show the American people that this is true. And the evidence that's been released so far on the website just isn't cutting it for that.
Not even close. So, yeah, I totally agree, man. Totally agree with all your points, to be honest with you. 100%. Tell us in the comments, y'all, what you think about that. That seems to be a hot topic. Trump giving a speech, disclosure. Are people talking about it behind the scenes? Is the Trump administration reaching out to different people to sort of test the waters? I asked the question, what does Trump administration mean? What does Trump team mean? You know what I mean? Is this some low level assistant of this who on his own personal time reached out? And some people are like, oh, Trump team's reaching out, right? That happens a lot. I'm just saying, how close to Trump? How many degrees of bacon are we getting to Trump actually, and in his inner circle that's happening with? So yeah, let us know what you think. All right, I'm gonna play a sort of a longer video and give Astral and I a quick break here, bathroom break or drink, whatever we need. This is something that Astral brought up earlier, actually, which is Ross Coulthart talking about. I recently got asked on Reality Check about the 2027, 2034 predictions that are sort of floating around. And Ross answered that and talked about that a little bit. So that'll be a good clip to leave y'all with. And we'll be right back after that. And we'll continue. Now, look, we're only going to go, Astral, you leave, whenever you need to leave, but I plan on just going 43 more minutes, right? To 2 hours total. So anyway, all right, let's play this clip and we'll be back, y'all.
Greg on X, have you heard anything else about 2027, 2034, the future event? I feel like this event coming is the big reason for disclosing things now.
Okay, a large part of the reason why people are talking about 2027 and 2034 as two significant dates on the UAP calendar is because of comments made largely by two people. John Ramirez, who's a former CIA guy who I'm not quite sure whether he's basing what he's saying on what he's adduced since he left the CIA, but he was working, John, at one stage in the Directorate of Science and Technology. And he has claimed that he learned things while he was in the agency that alerted him to the significance of these dates. And the way John tells it, 2027 is a date when aliens show themselves, when they come. Maybe that's the case. Lou Elizondo, the former Pentagon UAP investigations boss, who I think headed an organization, he says, called ATIP, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. He has acknowledged 2027 as a date that is circulating in government and intelligence discussions, particularly in the Pentagon and the US Space Force. It was on during his time in those programs that he heard about 2027. He describes as anecdotal information he heard, not a personal prediction. It's not a confirmed event. It's not something he's propagating as a threat. He's referenced it in the context of potential disclosure deadlines, strategic benchmarks, or uncontainable aspects of the UAP phenomenon. He's also mentioned 2034 and 2036 in connection with longer-term planning or projections. He doesn't say a huge amount about what this all means, but I think at 2027 he perceives as a bottleneck moment where the truth can no longer be contained. And maybe that's the reason why the Trump administration is rolling out this semi-flaccid, weak, tepid disclosure that it's doing at the moment. Colonel Carnell, who I have a huge amount of respect for, has outlined very detailed, structured timelines for a controlled disclosure to avoid the catastrophic disclosure that we were talking about earlier. And in his sole presentations from 2023, which I got to hear at the time, he talked about early phases starting in 2024 for proving UAP existence and restoring oversight. And his target for broader disclosure and understanding was around October 2030. No explanation of why it's October. He said that there were longer-term elements, scientific advancements, potential engagement extending into the 2030s, with references or interpretations reaching 2034. Not a lot of people are saying anything about what this all means. One thing I've checked with Lou is he's not suggesting that 2027 is a threat event. A lot of people, I think, are falsely attributing to Elizondo that he's talking up some kind of, I don't know, people talk about it as Project Bluebeam, some kind of alien invasion or some kind of threat, imminent threat. When people like Lou, who is from a counterintelligence role, talk about threat, they're talking about things we don't understand. By definition, for people like him in the military, anything we don't quite understand is perceived as a threat. That doesn't necessarily mean we're talking about little green men with phaser lasers coming in and taking over the planet. Other than that, I really don't know, but I just wonder whether what we're seeing at the moment from the Trump administration is an awareness of a timeline, an awareness that there really is a constraint on how long they can maintain the cover-up. I wish I knew why. Maybe, just maybe, it's the NHI themselves. Maybe they've indicated that they want the public to be told the truth. I like to think that because I certainly get the impression from the rapidity and the frequency of sightings events, people describing their contact with non-human intelligences, that there is some kind of turn-up in the frequency of these events. I just don't know, though, and I don't know whether 2027 or 2034 are strategically important events in this timeline. I certainly don't think they're locked-in timelines, and I really don't think it helps us to speculate one way or the other. There is talk of catastrophic events. It's a regular feature of some of the things people say. And I just don't know. People often ask me, what's coming, what's happening? And there's talk from people that there is some kind of catastrophic event. I suspect that might have something to do with the fact that the US is still building a lot of deep underground military bases, dumb bunkers across the United States with taxpayers' money, none of which are being disclosed to the American taxpayer public that's paying for it. But aside from that, I don't know. I really don't know. It's anybody's guess. I really can't advance the idea of imminent threat, imminent catastrophe, or imminent disclosure. I just don't know. I think we're just going to strap in and wait for the wild ride.
Oh, yeah. Ross, talking about 2027, 2034. There's a lot I could say there, but my favorite part is hearing Ross softly say flaccid.
He does have a way with, he's got a way with words.
Bro, he's very entertaining to listen to. He really is. He's a great orator. Is that the word, orator? I don't know if that's the right word. I'm making up shit, but yeah, he's great to listen to, man. He really is. That is for sure. Yeah, the 2027 thing is so interesting. I mean, I've got a whole playlist on the Vetted channel. You should check that out. It's the only other playlist I have that brings all these different videos together, just because it's been such an interesting theme since I started Vetted, and all this information has come out. So if you really want to learn a lot about where he talks about John Ramirez, I go through a whole deep dive of John Ramirez and the information and where it comes from, this, that, and the other. And Jeremy Corbell, you brought up him sort of warning us about it, as well as Greer. It's an interesting thing. Some of that information, I think, has been weaponized, to certain people, behind the scenes, to get them to, do things they probably wouldn't do. But I guess time will tell if aliens show up in 2027. And of course, it's just enough time for 2034 too. Like, well, it didn't happen in 2027, probably 2034. It's like we just kicked the can down the road. We got another 7 years to just bullshit people, right? I don't know. It's an interesting story.
It's a lot of converging predictions, like remember when everybody was all about the Nostradamus, of like playing out these predictions that happened. This feels like 2012 was another one the year 2012. 2027 feels like one of those years where there's just a little bit more heightened expectation just for something globally maybe to happen, or like an event that could change, I don't know, the direction. I mean, there's a lot of converging things like AI. Who knows what AI could be in 2000, a year from now, of the capabilities. So it could be AI discovers alien life and we don't even, we're not even involved in. But the contact events I think are interesting to, and even you could go into the new age stuff of, things like Bashar. Bashar has hinted at 2027, and all of these people who are, supposedly having contact. And to be honest, that again, I've talked about like those experiences. Those are kind of what I do pay attention to, are people that are having these experiences and the conversations that they're having with the beings, right? Like you're in this out of body state and then this being comes to you, and whatever form it takes, but you're communicating with it. It's telling you things, and some of these things that it's telling you are like, hey, the future, it's not looking so hot, like 2027 through 2000 wherever, like there's going to be some things that are going to take place. So and I honestly think that's what Robert Bigelow, where he is now in place of, is his consciousness studies, which basically is paying these groups hundreds of thousands of dollars, these studies, to get this information from alternate states of consciousness. So he's going to the Monroe Institute, these dream groups, these experiencers, these remote viewers, and saying, remote view the next 10 to 15 years and see if you see any sort of global destruction or these disruptive events or catastrophic type of events. And so he's gathering, just like I said, that free research study, of the six, that he's gathering tens of thousands of experiences and saying, oh, like in 20% of them, there's a tidal wave or there's a media, so I think like there's maybe ways to kind of use this global consciousness, to kind of maybe see there are ways into these large scale events. And I think that's kind of what John Ramirez hinted at, is how he was getting that information was through like mediums and channelers, not necessarily through these like back channel UFO insiders, but it was through these like psychic kind of means, which I find pretty interesting, really.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I question a lot of those sort of interactions, but they are interesting nonetheless. I'm just waiting for an alien to tell someone, just lights up a cigarette and just says like, y'all are going to be good. Like everything's fine. Just keep going.
Right. Just
keep doing what you're doing. Everything will be fine. Instead of, it's always like aliens or humans suck. We're ruining the play, just like we fucking suck. Like, why are we letting these aliens gaslight us, man? Let us take a look. Let us take a look at your civilization. I'm sure we got some critiques as well, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know. No, that's funny. Yeah, it's a fun conversation to have nonetheless. It's kind of a more speculative part of the topic, which I enjoy. That's my favorite part, any sort of speculation, and that's definitely one of them, for sure. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a conversation that's not going anywhere. Let's put it that way.
Right. The 2027 is just gonna ramp up really until the whole new year next year. It's gonna be crazy.
100%. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, every point you made is great, because the AI, there's just so many things that could be around that, right? And somebody could attach the general prediction, because it's essentially a general prediction. Now, some people say, well, no, aliens are showing up at that time. That's pretty concrete. So if that doesn't happen, then what? Then they can just say, well, they changed their mind, or they're on a different calendar, or they got held up at Jupiter, but they'll be here soon. Some bullshit. I don't know. Yeah, they had
make a pit stop.
Errands to run. Yeah, they had to make a pit stop, dog. Something came up, but they'll be here.
Saturn's having that party. They had that binger.
They'll be here after that. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, last clip that I have to play, and then we'll just go to chat and hang out. Let me see here. Oh, did I do that right?
Second batch of UAP files on the Pentagon's website. In this video from October 2020, you could see a black dot flying across the screen. This video initially sent to the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. This newest release comes after the administration has already released more than 100 files earlier this month.
So that's really it. And this is the bigger point that I wanted to make, which is the reason people give videos like that any credence is because the government releases it under UFO. So it comes packaged as important. So anything within that package, you're like, oh, that look at that black flying dot. This is something, because of the provenance it's presented in. But I think that's part of the problem, in my opinion. Just to go back to the, to bookend the point we were making at the very beginning of the live stream. And that's what the news is doing. I mean, I saw the news sharing the video of the balloon being blown up and the balloon, and all this and birds. And so it's like, this is kind of a mess, and this is what the news is running with. Now, granted, that what else are they going to do, right? But that's kind of the problem. You can hide anything within this provenance of, well, it's UFOs. This is UAP, like UFOs are real. Well, of course UFOs are real. That's like, all they're saying is there's unidentified shit. That's obvious, that's real. There's no question UFOs are real. We don't need the government to tell us that UFOs are real. Are there alien spaceships that are real? That's what we want to know about, not, unidentified shit. So yeah, just that caught my eye when I saw that. I thought, oh, this is so representative of what's happening on the news. They're just UFO files released. Here's this black dot flying through the thing. You don't know anything about it. I'm not saying that video is not interesting. I don't know. I don't know enough about the context of that situation to make it that black dot moving more interesting or not, right? Because of different camera things and this, that, I don't know what's happening. Is that a shadow moving across? Is it, I don't know. Is the speculation that's a flying saucer just moving in this straight line? Seems very weird. Where's the erratic movement? Where I thought it could move through time and space. Why is it, you know what I mean? Why is it moving like that? Like, what's the point? If they're trying to get to point B, wouldn't they just pop in at point B? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to see them portal jumpers, those. But you're right though on the level of it feels like a repackaging. And I think a lot of the time when I look at ufology and disclosure, it's like more of marketing than anything else. And it reminds me a lot of the psychic topic, like the psi topic. And a prime example is the telepathy tapes. The telepathy research has been there for years, 80 years, 90 years of telepathy. But it wasn't until they repackaged it so that a larger audience can start consuming it and being like, oh, like I can relate to this. It's not just all in scientific journals and stuff like that and just data consumption. So I think ufology has a key advantage where it's very marketable. Like UFOs and aliens is probably one of the most popular topics in the world right now. And so I think people might be mistaking that with like progress of disclosure. Like the bigger the topic is, the more, and what's really happening, I think on a certain level is we're just getting repackaged the same stuff that's been in the UFO lore for the years that people have already been frustrated with. And, even with these cases where we're not even getting enough context to figure out, anything that would even come close to confirmation of aliens or UFOs. So yeah, but it does seem like a marketing thing to me a lot of the time.
Yeah, man. Well said, dude. Well said. Let's clip that. Who's out there? Clip that. That was good, dude. That was good. I don't have a clipper, but if I did, clip it. Yeah, man. I totally agree. And, I don't know. It's definitely repackaged. It's definitely a lot of the same stuff. UFOs is a big industry. It's an industry. Right. I'm a content creator of UFOs, right? You also deal with this, right? Like I make my living off of Vetted. This is my full-time job. It is.
How long have you been doing the channel? Like how long have you going
3 years?
Kind of hard. 3 years. Okay. Yeah.
3 years with Vetted. Yeah, it's just, and it was, I chose it because it was popular topic and something I'm personally interested in was let's go for this, right? But I looked at it as there's an industry. I want to get into it,
Right.
and there's a lot of people that do that. Now, granted, I'm not a content creator that has sources or makes claims, or I don't do any of that. I cover what's happening, but there are other people who take it the other route. They got sources. They're trying to bring information into the field. I don't do that. I don't bring any information into the field. And that's something you have to keep that in mind when you're listening to certain people, that this is an industry. There's conferences, there's festivals, there's TV shows, there's movies, there's, like you said, it's one of the most popular topics in the world, if not the most popular topic. It's a universal global thing. Every country, I mean, you saw earlier when we did the live stream where I was shouting out, hey, where are you from? Right. This is,
Right.
people are interested in this all over the planet. It's not just an American thing. It's not that, just a this thing or that thing. It's everyone's interested in this, and every country has its own history behind some of this stuff, and it reaches back a long time, mixes in with religion and, different stories from different religions. And, it's an interesting thing that we all want to just know, right? What is more to this reality? So it's tough. I mean, at the end of the day, it just boils down to keep your head on a swivel. Don't be afraid to criticize. Be open-minded, but don't be afraid to be skeptical as
Right.
well. Don't be so tribalistic. Listen to what people are saying. And at the end of the day, I just tell people, make up your own mind. Do whatever you want. Just make up your own mind. If you want to believe this guy or this thing, or go for it, go for it. You know what I mean? Go for it. Don't let anybody tell you not to, or vice versa. If you don't want to, if you think something's bullshit, don't be afraid to say that either and stand behind that. It's all good. Doesn't really matter. I think we need all kinds of different people, to be honest. I think we need all kinds of different people to look into this. I think we need
Right.
your Mick Wests. I think we need your Jeremy Corbells. I think we need your Ross Coultharts, your Bryce Sables, your Richard Dolans, I think, your Stephen Greers even. Like, I think we need all kinds of different people to sort of go at this essentially, and, figure out what the fuck is going on.
Well put.
At
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
end of the day. All right, let's get to some comments. We're about wrapping this up. What are we? We're like 25 minutes here. We're gonna hit you guys. This is all on you guys here. So let's hang out in the comments and see what everybody's saying. We got Wacky Warrior saying we need to push to see what these politicians like Luna and Tim have said that they have seen that will change everything. Totally agree. I agree. Yeah, Luna and Burchett both have, right? Like, if you've seen what I've seen, be crazy.
But then at the same time, Burleson, I think out of all three of those, those are really the three musketeers, the three disclosure tiers,
Yeah.
or Luna, Burchett, and Burleson. But out of those, I'm following Burleson probably the closest, because he's got Grush as an advisor, and he's going to these sites and checking out, and seems to be making the most kind of progress. But he came out recently in a podcast and was like, the guy straight up asked him, are you a believer? Which to me is like, have you found any confirmation of any of the claims that you're investigating? And he said, no. He essentially said, no, I haven't found anything that's made me sort of believe or take, as fact, the alien or UFOs topic. So I think it's kind of concerning, but you could use these as like a beacon to where some of this can go and push them. I guess, one of the frustrating things is like there's all these videos like this B-52 bomber. Like, how do we get Luna to start pushing for that video? Like, how do we get videos that we were hearing about in the back channels of this evidence is, the one that could break all this open? Like, how do we get these guys that are leading this disclosure push politically to get those videos out for us? Because they're working for us. They could get these videos out for us, for the public.
Yeah, man. Great point. I totally agree. I like Burleson. Yeah, he said, asked if he was a believer. He said no. He said, I'm a skeptic. Even with Grush as an advisor for the last 2 years, he still hasn't gone in to believing. He's the most grounded. I think he's doing the most boots on the ground work. Luna and Burchett are pretty much bought in to this, that this is a thing. But Yeah, I'm with you. I like Burleson a lot. I respect him for how he's staying skeptically open-minded and continuing to look into this. And I think that's where it needs to be. And I asked the question specifically get back to Wacky Warrior here, like who is showing them this stuff, right? And why can't that be released? If you're showing Congress, they're saying it's not affecting national security. Let's get it out. Is it like the CIA is coming to them with files, the FBI? Like, are these official organizations? Or are they just, you know what I mean? Like, who is it that's showing them these videos that's so convincing? Why can't they get out, right? And they're like, well, I hope Congress, or I hope the government releases these videos. Bitch, you are the government. What do you mean you hope the government releases the video? That's what we say as citizens, bro, not you. You have the power to get this shit released, not us. What the fuck are we gonna do? Protest at fucking Walmart and the parking lot? Like, they need to be the ones. Again, I would be saying public, forget all those videos. Why are we pushing to have those released? The only ones that need to be released are XYZ. That's it. Bottleneck all the energy towards the best stuff to get people out if you're so sure it's holy shit stuff. And that's why it makes me question who is showing them this stuff and why are they showing them. And clearly Luna, Burchett, and Burleson are sharing information. They're kind of all seeing the same stuff. Why is Burleson still saying that, but Luna and Burchett are saying something else, right? Like, something's clearly not adding up. And how can Burleson not be over the finish line yet if he has access to things we don't have access to? Even Grush, something's not adding up. Like, there's a lot of journeys he's going on. He's been told to go on.
Right.
Clearly, the destination isn't what he thought it was going to be, but he's continuing to push. And I think that's all he can do. Mateas is back. He says, for those talking about psionics to call UFOs, can you please go to Central Park and call a few ships so we can all watch? Tiene razón, tío. Tiene razón. Yes, I agree. Why not? Right? Why in front of the White House? Have a meeting in the Oval Office. Say, Trump, this is real. I'm going to call down a UFO right here. You know what I mean? I'm going to call down a UFO right here. Let's end all of this. It's like the Bledsoe story where Bledsoe met with Burleson. They're having dinner. I can prove that. And so they had to go to some weird area and wait hours. And then Burleson's like, nothing happened. No, nothing showed up,
Right.
And then like other people said, and I guess at another time with Bledsoe in DC, he did make stuff show up. Like, well, what? First of all, if you're at the restaurant, just do it right there and walk outside the restaurant and see the thing, I don't know. It kind of makes me a little skeptical of. It's not that I don't think psionics is possible. I have a documentary coming out about it, but I just don't think everyone that claims they have this power is being truthful, and that's worrisome to me.
Right. Well, it gets into this, the psychic area of, what parapsychology was a way to hold people who are claiming to be psychic to account. They were, okay, bring it into a lab and we'll actually study you. And, with my exploration into CE5, I didn't want anybody to do it for me. I heard about CE5, and this is after, look, my first experience, I got robbed and I had a precognitive dream about it. So 3 days later, that's my introduction to all of this, is having a precognitive dream, so then I started exploring astral projection, out of body experience. But those are things where I was going to I want to figure this out for myself. I don't want to see a video or some. And so then when I heard about the CE5 stuff, I was like, all right, I went out the next day. People are like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to bring or whatever. I'm like, I went out the next day. I'm like, all right, let me figure this thing out. Let's see what's up. But I also was like, I'm going to go out 10 times, seriously go out and take this serious, how you're supposed to do it according to his app or whatever. You play the tones. And so, going out, I kind of committed to myself that okay, I'm going to see if this is it. But I was like, I'm actually going to go out and try this myself. And I just think some people don't give it that shot that deep. They're like, oh, well, why don't you just go out and do it and record a video and then show me that this is real? if this is genuine, which I do think my experience was genuine, like when I went out, and to me, it wasn't just like a streak. I was like communicating with this thing with my phone. I was flashing it and it was flashing back. So this was a little bit deeper of an experience to me of just not just seeing a light, but like actively communicating. But I think like if you want to really experience it, to me, they would want if another intelligence, they would want you to try and go experience, like that's the whole point of it, is not to have somebody else show you. Same with disclosure. I want you to just explain to me, hey, UFOs are real and this is why. I want to figure it out for myself, to internalize, to be like, oh, like there is something to this. Like, I don't know if what exactly it is, or the aliens or reptilians or all that, but like there's something subtle. And the same with the psychic experiences, is like this stuff isn't obvious. Like when you have a dream, like a precognitive dream, or like like it's kind of hazy, you're like, oh shit. But then you have that moment where like there's a synchronicity that happens where you know that you're like, oh man, like this is a crazy moment. Like I've had this before, like deja vu, but like only you know that it is. You're the only person. You can't like even explain it to somebody else. But it's the same with the CE5 stuff, is it's like a subtle flash in the sky when you think about it. Like that's it. It's not like a ship that comes and it flies around and everybody in the public's like, oh my God, aliens are real. It's a very subtle thing to me that this is, but you have to really go out and genuinely try and explore it. And if you go out 10 times, like I said, if I would have gone out 10 times and nothing would have happened, I wouldn't be here talking about it. But I actually went out and physically went out somewhere and really tried to do this 10 times and gave it its due. So that's what I would say to that.
Oh yeah, man. No, that's interesting. I never, filmed that whole documentary. No one ever said that to me about maybe the aliens, like they want you to experience it rather than have it shown to you. That's interesting. I never heard it. I never heard that. That's cool. That's an interesting take. I should have filmed with you, Doc, the documentary.
Yeah, for real.
Fucking A. Don't worry. We're talking
part
about
2.
doing a part 2. We are.
Hell yeah.
We are.
I'm down.
We're thinking about doing a part 2, taking it to the next level, to the next, up in the game. Yeah, man. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. Sprinkles. Love it. Sprinkles. Gifted 1 vetted membership. Thank you so much. Sprinkles gifted another vetted membership. Thank you so much. We got JP Flies a Drone. He's back. He says, you aren't wrong about lacking context with the videos. The system, the United States Air Force used a Navy reporting system, was a basic form to be filled out, and an intel person would grab the video, edit, and compress and file. Data was lost. I agree. Yeah, it's tough. That's exactly. But again, to me, it's like, I just don't care. Why do we even need to focus on anything UAP or anything that the government deemed UAP? Forget all that. You're saying we have the real shit. Why would we be focused on the stuff we don't know what it is floating around? It could be a balloon. It could be if you think it could be a balloon, why are we even dealing with that? There's thousands of files, thousands of cases. We're like starting with the worst kind. We don't know how much time we have left till the aliens come in 2027. You know what I mean? We got a time clock here going. We got to get on this shit, dog.
We're on the clock.
The clock's ticking, bro. But yeah, totally agree. We don't get any reports. We don't get any information of like how long they investigated that video or case to determine it's still a UAP. Just a simple form was filled out after they came back. Was it training? We don't even know if these are just training videos. People just out training how to use the drone. You know what I mean? And they're just filming stuff and like, yep, here, focus on these birds. There's some birds flying. Use that. Train with that. Just film that real quick. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's a tough one, man.
I think Arrow being,
videos.
I think Arrow usually would do an analysis on these, right? I think people are wondering. Chrissy Newton made a good point where Arrow, to me, this is where Burleson and Luna have both mentioned that like Arrow has been cut out somehow from the process. And I was wondering what that meant. I think this is what that meant, of we didn't get their analysis on these. Because usually if you go to Arrow's website, like arrow.mil, they release stuff like this. Like, this is very similar to what they release, but they have a report in a confidence level of we are 90% sure this is birds. And they basically say that to their conclusion. So I think we're getting the just the video and the small description of where it comes from and when it was, but we're not getting that broken down analysis already from Arrow. And that might not be a good thing right now. Like we're paying them for something. And what's interesting too is a lot of these reports would fall under their historical report, the time frame in which they would be reporting these. So these might be just some of the reports that don't have a determination or are still unresolved.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a great point. I totally agree with that. Yeah, it'd be nice to just get that. But yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point, dude.
FOIA.
Arrow. FOIA, baby. Where's John Greenwell at? Get him on it. He's too busy. We need another FOIA guy, right? We need another FOIA guy to come out too. A few of them. It feels like
we need a couple FOIA guys, a couple Matt Laszlo's down there on the boots on the ground, man.
Bro, absolutely. That's it. Enough of us armchair motherfuckers like us, dude, who aren't doing shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? We ain't doing shit. Wacky Warriors back. Says global secrecy has always bothered me. How has not a single country broke ranks and showed a body, a craft, or even good video evidence? That's fair. That's definitely fair. Who's the close? Like, what country has shown the most about UFOs and alien shit? What country do you think's been the most open, transparent about it? Is it America?
I mean, yeah. I would figure that's what's driving it. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe the most transparent. I'm not sure. I know Australia is not very much considered very progress on. China. I don't know. And somebody posted the other day, I think it was someone's like Japan is starting to do their declassification program.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think a lot of these countries are viewing the United States as the leader of this, but it's a good question. I mean, why haven't these other ones just, I would figure if the population or the public over there was getting frustrated or how they would go through, it's probably a very different process of how those photos, or even if they kept them or something like that. But yeah,
sure. Yeah, that's a good point. I think France released a bunch of stuff. I don't know how long ago it was. I mean, I can tell you Spain, there's definitely a subculture here and stories and people talking about, that sort of thing. But the government, I've never seen on the news of the government doing anything about anything that has to do with UFOs or UAP or anything, alien, nothing at all. So you're right. People may just be watching what America's doing and then kind of follow lead with that. Whoever's first will go down in history. Right? Whoever confirms that that's the case. Which country will it be? Oh man, I don't know. I think if Trump, see, this is a great point actually, because if Trump thought it was real, right? You don't think he's going to be like, oh, motherfucker, I ain't
we got to
take the stage, right? It's got to be me. I got to be. They'll build gold statues about me. They'll fucking, you know what I mean? Like, they'll vote me in a third term. I'll be the alien guy. There's no quite. I mean, why would he let that go? You'd be the
galactic president.
Yeah, exactly. They might vote me their president. Yeah, there's no way he would just let this opportunity slide if he thought it was real, right? No way. He's the most fucking narcissistic president we've ever had, and in a way, that's a good thing in the sense for this, because if he thought it was real, I just don't see him letting this go. Right? I mean, that motherfucker takes credit for everything. Shit he doesn't even do. So why would he let this revelation just float by and just you go down, whatever world leader comes out and gives that disclosure speech we all want, they'll go down in the history books of humanity forever. Right? I mean, I just don't see him being like, I'll let someone else take that limelight. I don't think so. That's what they should be telling him. Hopefully they're pumping his ego like that. Okay, you could be the greatest president. Just say that, all you got to do is do this. And maybe they have. He's just like, I'll do it, but you got to, where's the body? Take me to see a UFO? Like, I got to see some shit first. Otherwise, you could go down as the biggest laughing stock if you come out prematurely. Right. essentially, and I don't think he wants that either. He doesn't want to look like a fool.
I just don't see it as like a proactive move, as like we want to get ahead of this disclosure stuff. I feel like it's going to be more reactionary, that something's going to happen, something's going to leak, you know, something's going to force it. Yeah, it's like forced upon it. Then it's like, oh, like let's just announce it, you know, because we want the public to know. And another thing is, I think that to me there's two different things, and we talk about this in my space a lot, is like the disclosure of this alien craft, or like access to this technology, and the existence of aliens and the existence of non-human intelligence. I think there's two different things. I think the existence of aliens is not classified. People have tried to come out and sell us, like Carl Nell's like, non-human intelligence life exists, and that's not classified. And, you know, but the craft and all of our dealings is classified. So I think, you know, when you want to try and figure out, and a lot of the time I'm just trying to figure out if the aliens are real. Like the alien, that's what I want to know about. You know, the craft is whatever, technology, yeah, of course. But to me, like, I think when you get down to the real meat of it, people want to know if alien life is real and if it's interacting with us here now. And so that's not classified at all. So I think that to get some clarity on that question, you know, is a good goal for disclosure.
Yeah. 100%. Again, blood and bones, baby. Let's get
don't say that. They're gonna come after you. They're gonna get you.
I know. Right? Got a target on my back. Come at me, bro. Who said that? Nancy Mace. Look, we got 4 minutes left. Make sure to check out Astral's Twitter page, his YouTube. I'll put it in the description as well after the stream here ends, so you could go subscribe to Astral's YouTube page and his Twitter account for sure, if you want to stay up to date on just all the shit that happens with UFOs. I mean, literally up to date. Astral is on it, man. So yeah, this was fun, dude. I had a great time chatting with you, and I normally do these just alone, which is fine. I have no problem with it. I talk a lot, so I never shut up, says my wife. But yeah, man, this was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you coming on. Is there anything you want to say before? I don't know that you know, we didn't mention, or I don't know.
No, I'm still doing the remote viewing spaces. I've gone on and done them about 190 weeks in a row, which is wild to think about, doing the space every single week for over 3 years. So it's just great. But it's the reason why I'm so up to date on the UFO topic, you know, and I think why I've grown to really just love the culture of UFOs. I'm going to be at Contact in the Desert this week. Bummer, I'm not going to see you and chill out with you out there. But yeah, I'm just trying to build a couple things. My YouTube channel is at the Astral Media, my Twitter page. Just trying to build a couple things and collaborate. The podcast that I'm working on, Need to Know and Sound, Light, and Frequency, check those out. And you know, just thanks for having me on, dude. Great conversation, and love everything you're doing. So appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Yeah, I can't make contact. Totally sucks, dude. I was definitely looking forward to it. And it is what it is. I'll be there next year, so we'll just you know, we'll pin it. If they do the side games again later in August or September, I'll go to that.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hit me up. You know, I got you. Yeah, I'm helping out with that. That'll be a really exciting event. So I do the podcast for that as well, and help out with them on the executive team and help Hakeem with the event. Really exciting. I'm trying to develop a lot of the psychic research and the testing of it. That's really my passion, you know, again, with the remote viewing and stuff. So cool event. I'll definitely hook you up, bro. Hit me up, and I'll post some more stuff about it.
Hell yeah. Is it still happening in August, or they don't
know
when the next one is?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah, the next one's in August.
Sick.
Yep.
Sick, dude. Yeah. All right, before we go real quick too, I got some new merch coming out. I'm launching a whole new merch store for Beta. I've been working on it for months. I'm still working on it. Had to get samples. I got to send them back. They weren't good. I got this. I got that. You know, all kinds of shit. So trying to bring better stuff. We got this. This is going to be from the Psionics, my documentary. Little play on the, that's me summoning a UFO. Let's see. We got my Believe series. Okay, I got a hat. We got a shirt. We got a hoodie. Believe. That's my new thing. People think I'm not people think I don't want to believe. They think I'm just, you know, a hardened just denier. I'm not. I want to believe more than anybody. And that's why this is my motto. We all know it. I want to believe, not be deceived. That is the motto of Vetted. Yeah, I want to believe, but don't fuck with me, man. Don't fuck with me. And this, let's see here. This is one of the shirts too. It's just a nice little Polaroid. I just made, that's not a real UFO picture. I just made it. Hey, it's fake. It's not real. But I thought, okay, that
Hell
was
yeah.
cool. But yeah, man. Yeah, we got some
Those are
cool
fire.
shit coming. Yeah, dude, I got some cool shit coming. Hoodies, hats. I'm working some playing cards. I got a big poster for the Psionics movie, the documentary. You know, we did a film poster. It's sick. I got a framed, comes in glass. Like, I have it here. It's way too big for me to pull out right now, but I just got the first look at it, you know, going through all that. So anyway, we'll be launching that soon. Everyone will be able to get a hold of some of that shit and, you know, get my grifting game going right. You know what I'm saying? We
Right,
got to
dude.
grift, y'all.
That's
Gotta
right.
get that going. So
Scoop a couple
anyway,
things. Yeah.
yeah, man, for sure. Look, thank you to everyone that tuned in to watch and hang out. Astral and I talked beforehand. We may be doing more of these on a regular basis. And I just think these conversations are so important, to be honest with you. And yeah, really just had a good time. So I want to thank everyone who tuned in, took time out of the day. I know you have busy schedules out there. Everyone's working hard, double jobs, this, that, kids, whatever, right? Just life happening. And you chose to take time out of your day to tune in to us, us two assholes, and listen to us talk about UFOs. And I really do appreciate it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Don't forget to check out the links to Astral's pages. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next one. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.
Peace.